Welcome back to ReadingBear. Today, we will take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first story is titled Karen Follows Me into the Men's Restroom. A few weeks ago I was visiting my local big box bookstore, looking for good clearance items before the store closed permanently. The dead mall it was attached to is being demolished. The store has no dress code, but the employees do wear lanyards, and I wasn't. So I was browsing around my preferred sci-fi section when I realized I needed to use the nearby restroom. So I headed in that direction, which happened to also be next to the mid-store customer service counter. Karen notices me, positions herself directly in front of me, and blocking my path to my urinary destination. I don't know why you don't keep that desk staffed, but I really need your help finding my book. Are you going to help me or not? Not, I say, remembering the urgency of my business, and I step around her with a variation of I don't work here, continuing to my destination, thinking that will be the end of the encounter. It's not to be. I hear her voice rising in pitch and volume, on its way to full Karen Banshee as she literally follows me into the men's room, and I'm convinced she was about to grab my arm and pull me around to face her. Being conscious of social norms about public exposure, I made it into a stall and locked the door for privacy. That didn't stop her from knocking on the door and threatening to get me fired, before she heard the really solid stream hit the water and, I'm convinced, realized for the first time what it was she had done. I heard her embarrassed-sounding squeak, huff, and she hightailed it out of there. I finished my thing and washed my hands, and came out to witness her being escorted out of the store by a properly lanyarded employee. I only caught the tail end of the conversation where Karen stated she was never coming here again. And the employee had a classic response, neither am I, we're closing. The next story is titled Revenge at Last. So to start off, I used to work at a big warehouse store chain. Let's call it CJ's. I worked there for nearly 5 years, finally got fed up and had to leave. I now work at an amazing factory job and I love it. Been there a little over 8 months, which makes this story even more fascinating in a way. Yesterday, I was at CJ's, getting groceries and talking to a couple of my old friends that still work there. I'm wearing my factory uniform, clearly not wearing the red and blue that the workers at CJ's wear. My factory uniform is black. In walks an older woman that we all know of. Let's call her, Karen. She was what you might call a problem customer. Nothing was ever what she liked, all the employees were idiots, etc. But she had a real hatred for the male employees. Why? Who knows? But she treated me and the other male stock clerks horribly. Karen spots me talking to my friends, and Karen never liked me. Even though I had on a mask and again, was wearing my factory uniform, she comes right on over. Tells us all we're lazy workers and that we don't get paid to stand around and talk. She then orders me to help her lift some cat litter into her cart. Me, no. I don't work here anymore. Get someone else to do it. Karen, excuse me. You do too work here, you've helped me in the past. Now help me get some cat litter. Me, I haven't worked here in 8 months, I'm not doing anything. One of these guys will help you. Indeed, the 2 guys I was talking to were literally standing right there. But that didn't please Karen. Karen, are you refusing to help a paying customer? I'll get you fired. At that point, I was rather fed up. I just smiled at her and said, okay, go ahead. Get me fired from here, you bitch. That went as well as you'd expect, and she immediately went to the service desk. Minutes later, Karen came back with one of the managers. And who was the manager she got? The one I got along extremely well with when I worked there. As soon as they reached me, I hear her say, that's the one. Fire him for insulting me and not helping me. He just walked over and asked me how my new job was going. Karen's look equals priceless. The next story is titled, Today a Dream Came True. This is going to keep me smiling for a while. I work for a major retailer. On 2 occasions I have been verbally abused by a real idiot of a Karen. Her attitude is, go ahead, say a word and I'll be all over the store manager. So I just sucked it up. I had today off. My neighbor asked me if I wanted to take a ride with him to the other major retailer across town. I thought I'd go to see how they were handling the pandemic. So, friend is doing something at the service desk, and I'm hanging, checking out the setup of the photo lab. Right then I get the poke in the back with the accompanying, "Excuse me." My first thought was this sub. I say, "Yes?" And maybe smirked a little bit. She replies, "You need to adjust your attitude, march over there and open the register and ring me out." I reply, "Ain't gonna happen lady, you got the wrong guy, I don't work here." She is sputtering, she is so angry and says, "Who the duck do you think you are? I know you work here and this isn't the first time you have been rude to me. Either ring me out or get the manager, better yet just get the manager. What do you think about that?" Well, I couldn't pass up that opening. I stared her down and replied, "I think what everyone else who actually does work here thinks, you're rude, you're ignorant, you're self-entitled and you're 50 pounds beyond those yoga pants. Now duck off." The last got a laugh from the now gathering crowd. As my friend and I were leaving, I saw her dragging the manager with a full head of steam. Last thing I heard was the manager saying, "Ma'am, I have never seen that man before, he does not work here." She was still arguing as we hit the parking lot. The next story is titled, "He Works Here But He's Not Helping." M, 25, inside a shady shoe store in Las Vegas, taking my time going down the men's aisle, judging the knockoff shoes and seeing what I might get. Wide Karen approaches, "Do you work here?" "No." Smack slips, "What, I need a shoe size," and walks away annoyed as I don't bother to look at her. Returning to her group, she tells them how I'm watching, following shoppers. Asterisk inaudible asterisk minutes later. "I need help," asterisk turns to glance at me. I'm focused on looking at shoes with corner of my eye, seeing it registers in her head that I do not indeed work here. Less than split sec later she turns to look for employees. The next story is titled, "I don't work here and you couldn't pick someone more clueless." Lady, background, I am absolutely horrible when it comes to being a handyman. If you need something unbalanced or put together wrong, I'm your guy. But each time something occurs, I think that's the time I'll get it right. Hasn't happened yet. But hope springs eternal, which is why I am frequently at an orange big box store where they claim that I can build it and they can help. I'm having increasing doubts about this claim, but anyway. If you're familiar with this place, which we'll call HD, employees wear orange shirts, slacks and a smock. I do not own an orange shirt, as it is against my religion. I frequently wear maroon shirts, with the logo of a certain awesome university in College Station, Texas, on it. If you know what I mean, gig em, and you know why there's no orange in the collection. So take a maroon shirt, add grey gym shorts, and I'm really not a candidate for Employee of the Month, or employee at all. So I'm looking for some very long, thin screws to hang a shadow box. Also I'm looking for drill bits, since I lost the last set in our recent move. So I'm wandering the aisles, cluelessly, looking for my stuff. I should know where things are, but this happens every single time. Maybe I'm thinking of the stuff I could do if I wasn't useless. Whatever. I see a rather attractive lady, about my age, with a cart and she's moving rather quickly. I smile but say nothing, heading the other way down the aisle. I run into a guy who lived down the street from us before the move, exchange pleasantries and ask him where the F these screws are. He points me to the correct aisle, and I head off. I find the screws but not the exact ones, and I'm looking at the massive bunch of them hanging up like an art snob looks at the Mona Lisa. Just kind of staring. And then the fabled, "Excuse me." The flustered, irritated, "I'm better than you, excuse me." Being a fan of this place, I immediately thought, they really do that? I turn and look over my shoulder and raise my eyebrows but don't say anything. It's that lady, who shall now be called, you got it, Karen. "K, I need to get some drywall nails. Get them for me." "Me, these are screws." "I know that for a fact." "Look behind you." "K, you look behind me. It's your job." Me, perplexed, that's a fascinating assumption. "How did you get there from here?" "K, I saw you talking to your coworker. How she did that, I don't know. Maybe she turned around. You've been up several aisles. He told you what you needed to do." Me, "Ma'am, I don't work here. In fact, I'm probably the worst person you could ask for help here." "K, don't give me that crap, do your job." Me, pointing at my shirt. "This says Aggies. It is maroon. They wear orange and don't wear t-shirts. They wear slacks and don't wear gym shorts." "K, so you're dressed down." "So what?" Me, turning around, "Look. I found the screws. Turn and wave them at her as inspiration strikes. Get screwed. She invites me to procreate with myself and storms off. I head to the drill bits and here comes Karen, with my old neighbor. Hey Ernest, you are adding a little crazy to your rounds today? I asked. See, it's your buddy, she sneered. He wouldn't help and was rude. I don't care if he's not dressed or on the clock, he's not professional. My old neighbor laughs. He's also a moron when it comes to this stuff. Can't really argue that, so I just give the Michael Jordan shrug. Ernest then says, but he doesn't work here. Never has. We'd fire him. Totally clueless. I did find the screws, I said defensively. Kay cusses us a little more and storms off. Ernest and I share a stare and go our separate ways after I get the drill bits. I get home and hang the shadow box. It fell off the wall. The next story is titled, Can You Help Me With This? So recently, my sister, her boyfriend and I went to a famous electronics store. Think blue uniforms with yellow sales tag, blue lanyards and black pants. We were perusing the Apple section of the store, her boyfriend and I, and we were just looking at some Apple watches. My sister was somewhere else running around. She came up to us after a long while and asked what we were doing and what we were buying. Mind you, my sister is in a purple and black checkered shirt, with a purple lanyard around her neck, jeans and her coat in her hands. A guy and his wife, with their kid, were also in the same section browsing. He walked up to our table and asked my sister if she could help him with Apple products. She politely told him that she didn't work there and therefore doesn't know anything to be of help to him. She directed him to the nearest blue shirt. He apologized and told her that with the way she came up to us and asked us what we were going to buy that he thought that she worked there. The next story is titled, A Nice Foreigner I Met a Year Ago. This isn't like the typical angry Karen story that you'd find here, but I still want to share it. I live in a tropical country and with that comes its perks. We have a lot of malls and indoor activities available, so my friends and I decided to go to one of the outdoor malls to soak in the sunlight. Having ended up in an arcade, we immediately approached the karaoke stations, which were soundproof rooms that you can use. These rooms weren't rented, instead you paid for the songs you chose. We sang about 5 songs and used Spotify to choose our own after a while. Once I left to get a drink, I saw a relatively old man, so this technically isn't an I don't work here lady story, with his nieces. He was trying to get their tickets inside of the machine and was calling for any staff. I approached him and asked if there was anything I could help him with. He couldn't get the tickets in and so I pulled them out slowly and used a little more force to put them in and they all got in quickly. He thanked me for the service, and I said I didn't work there, but that I was glad to help. That made my day. The next story is titled, No Karen I Won't Get the Chips on the Top Shelf. So basically I went to my local Wally World in a blue polo. I forgot what I was doing that day, but I was definitely in a blue polo. Meet the cast. Me the handsome 15 years old male NW nice worker K Karen M the manager. Now let's get on to the story, shall we? As you know, I went to the Wally Mally in a polo shirt that was blue. I was looking for some chips myself because I was helping my school with the winter dance. I did get the chips. Next thing I know I hear someone clear their throat. I turn around and here is the person you have all been waiting for. K, you don't get paid to sit around on your ass all day, get those chips for me. Asterisk, she points at a bag of Doritos on the top shelf. Me being 5'4", I think, person that I am tells her that I can't reach up there, but I get cut off anyway. K, I don't care, find a way before I get you fired. Me, I don't even work here. K, yes you do, I saw you here yesterday. I was there yesterday, but I was with my mum. Skeptical smiley face. Me, why didn't you get your chips yesterday then? K, because I didn't need chips yesterday. I notice an employee nearby and motion her over. Me, she needs those chips up there. I point at the Doritos. NW, okay, I will have them. K, no, I want you to get them. I want your manager. NOWWW, there is the part we have been waiting for. NW, ma'am, he doesn't work here. K, yes he does, I saw him yesterday with an old lady. For the record, my mum was a teen mum, she was only 27 at the time. Me, look, can you just leave me alone? K, I want your manager. NW shrugs and walks away for at least a minute before coming back with the manager. I had a sigh of relief because I was being yelled at the whole time. Hello ma'am, may I help you? K, yes I want him. Points at me. Fired. Yes, she yelled at the end. He doesn't work here. K, yes he does. Me, I really don't. Please stop yelling or I could have you removed from the store. I snicker a little as I grab some Lay's barbecue chips. Karen grabs my arm and starts tugging me. The manager then calls security and they kick her out. I on the other hand get a discount for the troubles that she caused and never saw her again. The next story is titled, Professor Karen Yells at a Student Thinking I'm a Construction Worker. So I was a new student at university that was under construction. The team that was doing the work parked in a secret parking lot. That's entrance was through one of the few disability parking lots. It was a problem once in a while with large trucks parked in the disability parking lot because they are too big to get through the gate, which left not many spaces. So when a few workers did park in the wrong parking lot, they got a ticket quick as the front parking lot is for cars with disability plaques. So in my first week of school I had a Karen encounter. As I got back to my car I heard he screech of a wild Karen, "Hey, you can't park there." Why? Do I need another parking pass? I already bought one. No, but you can't park here. This parking lot is for disabled folks. You need to park in the back parking lot. Where is your supervisor? What is your name? Just because you're white doesn't mean you can get away with breaking the law. I'm a professor here and I can't stand you workers taking up these spots. It finally dawns on me she thought I was a construction worker, despite not having a hard hat or vest. Oh well, yeah, it sucks there are less spots. But I'm a student here and I have a student parking pass and disability plaque. Sorry about that, you just walk fine so I assume. Anyhow, are you leaving? Can I have that spot? No worries, and yes, I'm heading out. This wasn't the end of it though. So when I went to my afternoon class, one learned she was the professor of my racism, sexism and disables literature class. We laughed when she noticed I was her student. But a few weeks later it was a surprise to find she was parked in that parking lot without a placer as I wanted an I just ignored it. When I got AC I reported it. The next story is titled, In Mother Russia, Karen Fires You. For background. Me, 27M, and my family are from Russia but moved to Germany when I was 8, and my parents have a lot of Russian friends here, so we still have a lot of contact to Russians. One friend of our family owns a pretty good Russian restaurant. It's pretty big and well visited, and on weekends there are even live musicians and a lot of dancing and so on. It's very nice, and 200 people on a Saturday is pretty normal for them. He called my mum once and asked if my sister, 18 at the time, wanted to be waitress for this evening and earn a bit money. My sister was happy and said yes. But she had no car license at the time and the restaurant was like 55 kilometers away, and my parents were out on that day, so my dad asked me if I would get her there and bring her back. I had no plans, so I said yes, but since I don't wanted to bring her there and leave to come back 2 to 3 hours later to get her, I decided to wait there. The restaurant is pretty classy, so it's pretty normal for guests to go there with their best clothes on. I didn't want to look weird, so I put on my suit and bring her there. So, that's the background. Sorry for this long intro. Now to the main story. It was pretty full at this evening, 250 plus guests I guess, and the staff had a lot of work. Even the friend, who is the manager, makes service and works non-stop. It's loud but very entertaining. As said, the staff was very busy, and I didn't want to stand in their way, so I stood aside and just enjoyed the music. The musicians do breaks sometimes, and one of them, let's call him Alex, had a few minutes break and came to me for a little chat. It's super loud so we talk like in a club. How's work? What's new? Had any dates lately? Stuff like that. There was a little couch, we sat down as shared memes on the phones to each other and relaxing a bit. Suddenly, I feel a finger on my shoulder. Entering Karen. A woman in her 50s, blue fancy dress, pearl necklace, a ton of makeup and the typical Karen haircut, pointed at me and waved, so I stand up and talk to her. Me, yay? Karen, wow, if I would work like you do here, I shouldn't wonder to get fired. You just sit there and don't serve the food like the others. I was shocked. The staff wears red vests with the restaurant's name on the back and I was there in my usual black suit. Sorry, what? I don't work H. I got interrupted mid-sentence because Karen took her flat hand and put it in my face and turned away moaning, "Don't you dare contradict me, street dog." In Russian there is a word for that, which is hard to translate, but it means like filthy, Norrit's creature. It's a very rude word. Me, the F? She went off to the bathrooms. Alex, who has seen it all, took my arm and said, "Dude, the F? Relax, let's go outside and take a smoke. You look like you'd explode any second." Yes, I wanted to run after her and tell her a few things, but I went outside and calmed down a bit. The manager came out and took a smoke break too and asked me what's up. Alex told him the story and the manager went crazy about it. He apologized for a guest's behavior. Now the surprise, a guy standing outside nearby must have heard that and came right over. Guy, the woman you are talking about, does she wear blue fancy dress, pearls etc.? Yes. Guy looked pretty embarrassed. That's my wife. We were all shocked. The guy then apologized for his wife. He was completely ashamed. And went back in. We all started laughing. I enjoyed the rest of the music acts and 2 hours later my sister and me went home. Still a funny story, when I think of the poor guy married to Russian Karen. The next story is titled, I guess the grocery store employs dog trainers now? This was a while back, before COVID-19, when I worked at a pet retail chain as the lead dog trainer. Where I worked was a short walk to the grocery store, and I often would go there on my lunch break to grab something to eat. I got confused for an employee many times, but this one took the cake. Cast, me, Karen, K, Karen's 3 friends, KF. It was a pretty nice summer day, and I was feeling pretty great as I'd crushed it in dog training sales earlier that day and the sun was shining. I was still wearing my grey athletic shirt with huge white letters on the front and back that said dog trainer, as well as having a large blue bait bag pouch for holding dog treats and other kit on my belt. I was kneeling, grabbing a box of plastic spoons when I heard K. Hey, excuse me. Look at me. Me glances over and looks away, as I'm sure they mean someone else. K guffaws to her friends, no wonder these people don't make a living wage. I can't believe how rude employees are these days. Hey you. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Me, taken aback by the gall of this woman, I stand up and turn around. K, finally. You were in your own little world there, huh? Next time you need to ask the customer if they want any assistance before they have to try to get your attention. It's very incredibly rude. Turns to the gaggle of Karens behind her for ass pats and reassurance. We need you to get us X brand of bread. And Y brand of ice cream. Oh, and show us where the chips are, we're in a hurry. Me, I'm sorry, I actually don't work here. But gesturing to an employee nearby, they do and can probably help you. I start turning to walk away. K, excuse me? You are right here, you should help. Stop trying to make other people do your job. Now find our stuff before we get your manager. KF, start exchanging looks, and definitely notice my shirt. Me, ma'am, I don't work here, I'm on my break, trying to grab a few things myself. I'm sorry, but I can't help you. K, even if you're on break, you still need to help customers. That's your job. KF, try to gently get her attention, whispering that they don't think the grocery store employs dog trainers. K completely ignores them and continues her tirade. I can't believe how disrespectful you are. You can't even do your job. I bet you didn't even graduate high school with this attitude. Me, lady, for the last time, I do not work here. If you'd try to read the 2 words on my shirt, you'd notice that it says I'm a dog trainer. Dealing with idiots is my job, so unless you're going to start paying me, I have better things to do. I walk away and overhear Karen's friends trying to calm her down and also holding back laughs because they tried to warn her. I finished grabbing my items, and hightailed it back to work. Never saw that Karen again, and I am still waiting for another rude interaction so I can use the idiots line again. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comment.